What's going on, guys?
Hey,
Welcome to the farm, Granger.
for anyone that doesn't know, we start these podcasts without really even saying hi to each other. We come together from whatever things we're doing and start. That's what this podcast is, become.
Yeah, you're almost never at the farm. You just come for this podcast once a week, pretty much. What's going on in your world?
Yeah, at least I'm here. This podcast keeps me coming in, which is great. I think I need to do something at the farm, and I look at the counter. I'm like, oh, I'm coming in for the podcast. I'll do it then. But yeah, I've been busy. A lot of church member stuff. Leaving here right after this, a guy just got out of the hospital, so I'm gonna go and visit him, which is huge. It's a huge privilege to do that. I love it, actually.
What else is new in y'all's world this week? Anything going on?
Heading to Amarillo tomorrow.
Driving?
Flying.
Midnight Radio.
I'm actually taking Jai. It's like his first time to do something like this. He's got his own hotel room and everything. I asked his mom if that's okay, but it's a kid that we're trying to pour into. Yeah, playing Midnight Radio. No. I don't know what I'm doing there. What am I doing there? I'm speaking somewhere at a church, a Cowboy Church.
What's today? Thursday? Yeah, you speak there.
Speak tomorrow night and Saturday morning.
Yeah, twice.
What do you think about Cowboy Churches?
Not a fan. Not a fan. These are things these are things that I share with people anyway, but I'm not a fan of any church that is literally known for its it's known for its human distinction. Like, it's a church that is literally based around a human characteristic, which is cowboy. Or I feel the same way about a biker church. I feel the same way about a church that's all one ethnicity, or a church that's just for young people, or, it's not what church is.
Because it's more on self and less on Jesus.
Yeah, because then you're saying, in every cowboy church will tell you, oh, we're open. We got our doors open to anyone that wants to come. Yes, technically, but who would want to go?
Unless you're a cowboy.
No city boy won't walk in there.
What do you say to someone that's like, yeah, but this could be like, for a demographic of people that feel often out of place in America? That's a place where they could hear the gospel. They could learn about Jesus in a place that's comfortable to them. And you're ministering to people that maybe wouldn't otherwise hear about Jesus than at a church that is catering towards their lifestyle. I'm just trying to think of like a world where people would defend that,
Yeah, I would be interested in the comments to see how people would defend what I said, because what I just said, the claim I just made, is my personal conviction. What I didn't say was that cowboy churches don't teach good, or the pastors are wrong. Or people don't get saved there. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying, like, fundamentally, the idea of a cowboy church, or a biker church, or a yoga church, or a CrossFit church, I've seen those, or any church that's based on a human demographic, is in itself limiting themselves to that demographic, and not the diversity of the body of Christ that the Bible talks about. That the members of the body all bring something different. So when you have a church that has a nerdy city boy accountant and a gritty blue collar cattle worker and a single mom and a grandma that's been married for 67 years, you put all these people together, you get a really diverse yet strong group of gathered people that could use each other's gifts. But if you limit it to only grandmas, only single moms, only cowboys, only city boy accountants. You're just missing
Nobody's
out.
nobody at the Cowboy Church is turning away all those people you just mentioned.
That's what I just mentioned like a couple minutes ago, that they wouldn't say that. But if you walk in a Cowboy Church, like I have many times, and you see all the cowboy hats and all the boots, you don't want to go in there to not, if you don't fit in. You don't want to.
All I'm saying is, whatever the church is, as long as they're glorifying the Lord and preaching sound doctrine and theology, that's all that matters.
Okay, well that's the argument, I guess.
I'm not saying that I disagree with you necessarily, but to Parker's point, I love that there's a place that a farmer can get off his tractor, plow in the field, and then go to a church where he feels comfortable, as long as what I just said is the foundation of that church.
I think that's missing the whole point. I think if you can't feel
what is the whole point? The whole point is to glorify Jesus and to preach what he did for our sins. Period.
Yeah, and so that message biblically attracts a diverse group. And so if you're limiting the diversity and saying that this is the kind that we cater to, you're missing a big piece of the grace of God. And this is something I've personally experienced when I what I'm forced to do at Emmaus, for instance, is I'm forced to reach way past my comfortable little bubble of ethnicity.
Which is what I just said, of how there's so many different people there that I feel very different, which I'm not saying that is a bad thing. I'm saying it's a great thing, because there's 60-year-old women, there's black people, there's white people, there's Asian people, there's kids, there's people that have other interests.
What's your argument? Now I lost your argument.
That I'm different than everybody.
And you're saying that's a good thing.
I'm saying it's a good thing. It's a difficult thing, though.
But I thought you said it as a negative thing at first.
No, I didn't mean it as a negative.
Oh, okay.
I was just having a statement of I feel different there.
Okay. I thought you were saying I don't fit in, and so I'd rather go to a church where I fit in.
No. I'm not saying that I want to go to a church where everybody wears backwards hats and Nike whatever's. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Because it stretches me, like
Brian laughing at
it
him?
grows me. These are running shoes, man. I ran this
pointing
morning.
at Tyler's shoes right now.
I ran this morning.
I get what that argument is, though, because like in our head we have like the extreme in our mind where it's like, okay, you imagine this rural country boy who's got his starched jeans, he works the fields during the day, and like in your head you're imagining him walk into this mega church where everyone's got on their skinny jeans, their Chelsea boots, and their $100 shirts, and he's just like, what in the world is this, brother?
I agree to that too. Yeah, I tell him don't go there.
But then at the same time you're like, well, if he's just attending a church that is preaching the gospel, like Tyler said, and he's just like, there's not enough people like me here, then it's like, okay, well, it depends on why he's feeling out of place, what the place is like that he's at. Like, there's a million different things that we'd have to dive into there, because obviously he would be very welcome, and then you would also want to kind of question his heart and be like, brother, do you know the gospel? Are you born again? Look at these verses talking about you being brought into a new family, and anyone who loves brother, sister, mother, son more than me is not worthy of me. Jesus, when questioned about it, he's like, look, these are my brothers and sisters. Where are my brothers and sisters but here? So there's something about that new community brought together that does proclaim the gospel. We used to joke all the time when I was an intern in DC, and I'd see my pastor, who's a 64-year-old white man, walking with a 23-year-old black guy in his baggy jeans and his Nikes, who's a rapper, and they're like such good friends and genuinely like have a brotherly love for one another, grabbing lunch together. And we always joked, like, what is the average person thinking when they see those two people together? A guy in business casual and then a guy in his urban street clothes, different races, different background. The only thing they have in common is Jesus Christ, which then is a great story.
Yeah.
Like, pointing you to the gospel. So how much when you see two people, when you see the cowboy and you see the accountant together and have nothing else in common but the gospel.
You just said it a lot better than I did, Parker. But that's that. Yeah, amen to that. That's what I agree. And that kingdom diversity. And then, but I'm also not saying that in certain regions they're just going to naturally be like in the panhandle of Texas, outside of Amarillo, in the farmland. You're going to naturally get a lot more farmers and ranchers naturally than you would in Cincinnati, Ohio. So I'm not saying that region to region shouldn't just automatically look different. If you're in Kenya, you're going to get a bunch of Kenyan Christians that look very similar. And if I walked in there today, I would be very different. They would welcome me, but I wouldn't go in there and be like, you guys need to diversify a little bit. No, that's just because we're in Kenya. So I get that there would be cowboys in cowboy areas. Yeah. I'm not saying that.
I did a little search on Cowboy Church. It says they're not a formal denomination, but a movement that started in the 1970s and exploded in the late 1990s, especially in Texas.
I'm always wary of anything that exploded in the last 30 or 40 years.
It grew out of a desire to reach people who felt disconnected from traditional church culture, especially ranchers, rodeo cowboys, farmers, who didn't resonate with formal services. Many of them worked on Sundays, traveled with rodeos, or simply felt like they didn't fit in with conventional churches. So pastors started planting informal gatherings at rodeo arenas, in barns, and at fairgrounds. One of the main influences came from Glenn Smith, a rodeo cowboy turned preacher who began doing arena-based ministry in the 1970s, and that laid the groundwork.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of movements that have come.
I mean, I see that picture of the cowboy kneeling at the cross on trucks everywhere still.
Yeah.
It's very popular. I think that was a good conversation, though. I think that's something that's important that a lot of people, let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube what your thoughts are on Cowboy Church, if you've been associated with one.
I think the average person defends that. They're like, yes, that's awesome. Do more of that.
Yeah.
And I've just come from a world where I was in a clique, a niche, for a very long time. I was in the country music traveling niche. And it's interesting to look back and think if I would have just said, well, I'm in the country music traveling niche. I need a country music traveling church, as opposed to being like, no, I need to die to myself. I need to die to myself and be reconformed. Anyway, I have strange opinions.
ChatGPT says they're focused on, they're simple in structure, no steeples, no formal dress code, no passing the plate. And it reminds me of the type of people that would say, you know, I find church more in the woods.
Yeah.
You know, I don't need to go to a building. I got my relationship with God. I'm not saying that's kind of to the extreme. I'm not saying, because Cowboy churches are obviously having some sense of community and wanting to come together. But then one step backwards from that is the American rural guy that we're very familiar with. That's just like, you know, I don't need to be in a church pew to go to church to worship God, that sort of thing, you know, the Lone Ranger.
Yeah, and we're not picking on Cowboy churches. We're just picking on any church that, like I said, is unified, not because of Christ is leading the unification, but because of the cultural bias of that group. I'm saying bikers, like I said, there's biker churches, yoga churches, CrossFit churches, there's youth churches, there's senior churches. Yeah, so we're not picking on Cowboy churches.
Tyler or Aaron asked Marshall just literally yesterday or the day before, and said, what do you think about Cowboy churches? And he said, I would just be cautious if people think that the main identifier that brings them together, I would be curious to see what they would say that is. Is it because they are cowboys?
Perfect.
What is the primary thing that we all have in common here? Are
That's
we cowboys that love country music, or are we?
It goes all back to what I said. It's exactly what I said. And I see nothing wrong with any of those churches if the focus is on Jesus Christ. And a farmer can get off his tractor and go to church and worship the Lord and glorify him. As opposed to what you're saying, do I go just because my cowboy Larry is my buddy and we go have biscuits and gravy in the hall before you know, because I like doing that. Like, is Jesus number one?
Yeah, or is it a social country social club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, man? What about you? What have you been shooting lately?
What I've been shooting? I shot a washing machine and a dryer yesterday.
You should start a gun church.
Yeah, like a tactical,
Mhm.
what should we call it?
Shooting church.
Yeah, that's good. This is for people who love guns.
That's right, baby. So your channel is almost at 2 million subscribers now.
Yep.
When do you estimate you'll hit 2 million?
I don't know. I don't really keep up with it. Probably.
What's
in
today,
like a
Thursday?
Week
I'll
or
be
so.
there like Tuesday.
Oh, is it? Haven't even really noticed, to be honest with you.
What?
Nothing funny.
It just doesn't change anything in my day to day. Like the subscriber count doesn't really change anything,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't really care.
It's just fun. It's fun, especially for Tyler and I to watch.
Yeah.
See you doing that.
We shot a washing machine yesterday, and believe it or not, it stopped every single thing that we shot at it. The 50 cal the regular 50 cal did go through, actually, but it did not go through the dryer. But then the armor piercing 50 cal did not go through. So, yeah, really crazy.
How about you, Tyler?
What?
What you been up to?
Yee Fest. Going to court. Doing everything. Is it Sunday, May 11th yet?
Did you think about putting on a tie when you put on that jacket? And
I don't have a tie, so
You literally don't have a tie.
yeah.
What was it like going in the courthouse to try to convince them that we're going to have a bunch of people out here?
What do you mean?
Were you nervous? Were you confident? Were you just trusting the Lord? What'd you think? That's your first time like going to court to appeal for something?
What did I think? I thought this is Tuesday, and what else would I be doing on a Tuesday if I didn't have this? So secretly, it spiced up my day. I was excited. I love putting myself in pressure situations because it makes you feel alive. It means you're alive. So it was exciting.
That's what Amy always says. She always says she thrives under pressure. She likes being under pressure for stuff.
Pressure's fun, man. Pressure, makes you feel alive. Like the Bachelorette thing. It's super nervous, getting on TV and cameras everywhere. It's it's an experience. It makes you feel alive and check boxes of life, you know? And it's if not me, who else? Put me on the front lines and make me be the guy that goes and does it. I'll do it. So, I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, I know it does for you, but
I'm nervous right now. So how are you feeling about Yee Yee Fest in general? Is this something you want to do next year, or is it too soon to say?
Depends on the day you ask him.
Somehow with that I fall into, I'm just kind of the guy that every single person goes to. So that's hard. So just like in life, trying to delegate and trying to pull back a little bit and allow more help. Yeah, it depends on the day you ask me, but overall I think it's great for the brand. Everything we do here, we try to be customer first and customer focused. And so putting myself in their shoes, what an amazing experience for them to be able to come down, hang at the farm, hang out with all of us, see a concert, see a mud bog, be with other people from Yee Nation. That makes me happy. Putting myself in their shoes would be, if there was if you had the opportunity as a kid to go to George Strait, had a farm or a ranch and go do something like that, it'd be amazing.
Do you think we'll have a mud bog this year?
Yeah, with the rain, yeah. We're going to pull it from some water from a river if we don't get rain.
We figured out how to do it.
David's going to do it for us.
Okay. Have you been out there since it rained the last few days? We didn't get a lot though.
Me and Parker went. There was like one puddle that was like this big.
In the mud bog itself?
Yeah, so meaning, I mean, if it rained
good.
again,
That's good.
if it rained again right now like that, it might start filling up, but it's just going straight through right now.
Okay.
Break down the what's going to happen with Yee Fest for those who don't know. What does Friday look like, and then what does Saturday look like?
Friday, it's the truck show.
Which you and I just found out. It's like, oh, that's cool. There's awards. Like, that's fun. Like, all this new stuff, like Yee Yee
Yes.
Award, like whatever that means. Like, who are the judges? I don't even know. Like, I'm Josh and Robbie, I guess. But that makes it kind of fun. Like, to all the people listening, apologize. We just literally have conversations, but we're new to the truck show world, so we're figuring it out as we go. Friday, go ahead. It's the truck show.
Yeah, truck show, which should be really cool. Then we're going to do a...
You going to bring Earl's truck, by the way? That should be there for sure.
Earl's truck's here.
It should be displayed, though.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's in there. To be honest with you, I'm mad at Earl's truck. That's kind of why it's here. Something's always wrong with it. But
You think about fans, like, again, the fan experience, like me putting, like, to get in Earl's truck and, like, see it, that'd be sick.
I really love Alice's truck. Like, that is so... Have y'all driven that lately? Have you driven Alice's truck lately?
I don't even know where it is.
It's at my house. I usually don't bring it out because if Maverick sees it, he goes nuts.
I was at church on Sunday. He wanted to go to my truck, and then we saw Alice's truck, so we got an Alice truck. All these people are leaving church, all our church members. And Mav is just revving Alice and honking the horn. I'm like, Mav, we shouldn't really be doing this in the church parking lot. Row, row.
So, walk people through Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so then after the truck show, we're gonna do a VIP dinner with me, us. Actually, we're all of us, and Ant-Man's gonna be there. We're gonna probably record a Q&A for a podcast where people could come. We'll interact. We'll answer questions. That's definitely what Ant-Man wants to do. Maybe give a quick devotional. I've written like 17 of them now.
Oh, I need you to send me the text for one too for our Sunday post on Yee Yee.
Okay.
Before you leave.
Yeah, that's another note. We can talk about that after. But man, those devotions have been, oh my goodness, incredibly nourishing for me in the mornings.
Yeah, I bet.
When I write those and I just discover on Logos different word meanings, and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I'll tell you one in a second, the one from yesterday. But anyway, then we're going to do that dinner, and I'm going to play some music, acoustic. I'll have my acoustic guitar. We'll play a few songs.
So this is Friday night, May 9th you're talking about.
Yep. That covers Friday, right?
Yeah.
Plus
Did you say there's a truck show?
Plus food, games, kids,
So you can bring your kids that afternoon. There's going to be some cool trucks that like drive by down the road, I'm guessing, and people stand by and they like drive by.
No, they're parked.
Oh, they're parked.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're parked, and you could take your kids up to them and see them up close.
Did you know Bailey Zimmerman's coming?
Mm-mm. Why?
Well, the ACMs are Thursday, May 8th in Dallas. He is partners with Josh, who runs one of the guys running our truck show.
Okay.
They do builds together, and he just really wants to come hang out at the farm. So I think he's bringing his bus on Thursday and staying through the weekend.
Okay, great.
He's not performing though, right?
Okay, so then Saturday, gates open at what time? Brian?
12 or 2. I want to say 2. 12 or 2.
The mud bog starts. There'll be competition, $10,000 of cash prizes.
How do people enter into the mud bog if they want to, if they're listening to this?
There's a link on the website.
Link on
And
yeefest.com. Find a
Yee
link
Fest.
to apply, and then our team will approve it or disapprove it, depending on your truck.
Yeah, that's for the truck show and the mud bog both. You could put in submission. If you want to race in the mud bog, go to yeeyeelife.com. It's going to redirect you to yeeyee.com and then to our site there, and you go and enter your truck and all the specs, and hopefully we'll get you in, and then you could race. It's going to be really fun. We'll have crowds, watching you. We'll give away prizes. And then we have a concert. We have band Reeves. You guys don't know them personally. I met them. I went and spoke at a men's group in East Texas, and they were playing. It's these two brothers, duo, and they sing Christian music, original Christian music. But it's country, very country style. And man, their harmonies are awesome. They're super cool guys, super humble. And it's crazy that we actually got them for Yee Fest. It's crazy that connection from me speaking at a men's group, they were providing the music. But man, you guys are going to love them. Everyone's going to love them. They're really fun to watch. And then Josh Abbott Band, who those guys have been connected with us for 20 years. Almost 20 years now.
Yeah, I don't even think our podcast listeners maybe knew that was happening, but that's a huge deal. Josh Abbott Band's going to be playing Saturday night as well.
Yeah, he's like a Texas country legend.
So Josh and I became friends in 2007. I think that's when Josh put out his first album, 2007. So we're coming up on 20 years, him and I being friends, and so I think it's really appropriate. Him and I were playing Lone Star Jam. This is the last concert Riv was at.
I remember.
So that was just a few days after Lone Star Jam with Josh was when my whole world changed. And so it's interesting now coming back into this, and it's Josh. So it'll be fun to hang out with them and to see them play again, and then we play. Fish is going to play. Todd Landingham's been wanting to play. He really wants to play. He's like begging. So it might be Dusty, Todd, Johnny, Fish, Landingham, me.
No Todd Howard?
Yeah, Todd. Two Todds. Yeah.
Oh. So wait, did you say Fish or no Fish?
Yeah, Fish too. Everybody.
So you have 3 guitars?
Yeah, I mean.
And he's just talking about if Landingham really wants to get up there for a song or two.
Maybe we'll do like
you could
a
just
couple
keep
songs.
his guitar unplugged or something, and he can just stand up there.
So fun fact, Landingham is the guitar on the Country Boy song.
Did he ever get to play it live with you, though?
No.
No way.
He never did once? Because Barrera did, right?
He recorded the biggest song of all time and then left and never played it live. That must be the weirdest feeling.
Pretty sure he did.
I
Pretty sure he
I
did.
think he left.
Like Arbuckle Ballroom days. When it just
Maybe
came
he
out.
did. But it was early on
Crazy.
when he left.
That's
yeah, maybe
crazy.
he did, but it was early.
We'll have to ask him that.
So yeah, it'd be cool. So each of those guys, Todd, Fish, and the other Todd, and Dusty and Johnny, of course, but each of those 5 guys have been on a recording that everyone knows from me.
Cool. Well, that's exciting. Go to yeefest.com if you guys want tickets to that. Granger, did you want to touch on any of those devotionals that you've been recording?
Yeah, I put out.
If you guys follow Granger on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, he's been doing these like 60-second to 2-minute long devotionals that he'll write out and then walk and talk and just share something short. That's like, I think the goal is just, why did you start
The
that?
number one goal is just nourishment for me. That's the goal. And then the secondary goal is
Nourishment for you, meaning it's just good for your soul to make them in general.
Yeah, it's like
So it's just all about you then, huh?
I told Mom today, it's kind of like mining a river in the 1800s in California. You just start really panning for gold and looking, and you go, oh wow, look at this.
Yeah.
This is really valuable. And so then secondly, putting them out. I put out number 6 yesterday, but it's not, you see a lot of stuff on Instagram, like religious stuff on socials that's very man-centered, like how to get along better with your wife, or feeling depressed lately, listen to this. Or if you're going through something, you might want to consider this. This is none of that. It's Matthew 23, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then here's the story. And then here's what happened. Isn't this crazy? And at the very end, so we should think about that. Maybe I should do this. And that's it.
Why did Paul upload one as opposed to all of them? And then why did he upload it as a video and not a short video?
I talked to him on the phone this morning, and we're going to get with Zach about it. So, yeah, I'm aware of it.
Okay.
But they're all on other... But anyway, in the morning I do my reading, and then I'll highlight a little piece in my morning reading from a gospel that I'm reading. Right now I'm in Mark. The ones I've been uploading are from Matthew, but I'll go, oh, I want to do the devotion on this. So I'll start looking at it, reading it, looking at the different words. The one I did yesterday was from Mark 10. Bartimaeus was the blind guy that Jesus healed him, gave him his sight, in Mark 10. And so I was like really thinking about it. It's a little bitty paragraph. I'm like, all right, I want to do a devotion on this. What could I see here? And Bartimaeus is like yelling, please, help me, help me, help me. And the disciples are rebuking him and like, shut up, man. Like, we're walking by here. And Jesus stops and says, call him to me. So they said, hey, he actually wants to see you. Come on, get up. Which would have been a moment, this group of men are walking by and this blind guy no one cares about. They're like, the dude, he just actually says he wants to talk to you. Come on. Says he throws off his robe, jumps up, and he comes over. And Jesus says, in the most obvious way to the blind man, what do you want me to do for you? Which is like, right? Can you give me my sight? But Bartimaeus says, Rabbi, give me my sight. Jesus says, your faith has healed you. Go on. And he says he followed him. Okay, well, you could quickly move past that, but I on Logos, you could touch the words, so I touched on Rabbi. Rabbi, give me my sight. But he didn't, and that means teacher, but that's not what he meant. That word is Rabboni. It's only used one other time, and Logos helped me find it. It's only used one other time in the New Testament, and it was when Mary Magdalene was talking to the gardener at the resurrection, and she said, where did he go? Can you please show me so I could, what'd you do with his body? And Jesus looks at her and says, Mary. And she goes, Rabboni. That's all she says. It doesn't mean teacher. It means it, but in a small way. It means much more than that. It means master, Lord, the highest level of teacher you could possibly get. That's what the blind man said. 2 times used in the New Testament. Mary and Bartimaeus. So that's why Jesus said, your faith has healed you. Because he called out the name above all teachers. So he was recognizing him for who he was. And I was like, oh, this is crazy.
That's cool.
So anyway, have y'all seen them? Have you watched them?
Watched what?
Any of them? I just figured you probably
I saw
have
like
not.
the first one.
Figured you
It's
wouldn't.
for me, it's a lot. Like I told you, I was like, I wonder if you should. The number one thing that you said is it's nourishing for your soul, so that's awesome. So it's like do them a ton, but from like a consumer standpoint, I'm like it's a lot, very in depth, and I want to slow down, like maybe one a week, and like really dive in, as opposed to like, oh, there's another one already. That's just me. Everybody's different.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that.
But if it's nourishing to your soul, put them out every hour.
I get that because, like I don't go to Travis's and watch every one of those either.
Right.
So I understand that. But I'm writing one a morning, so yeah.
Cool. That was a good update. That's what's going on here at the Yee Farm. Thank you guys for listening, and have a great week. We'll see you next week.